Welcome back on the show, and congratulations for the drop of your new book today.
Thank you, Clarissa. It's great. Always a pleasure to be with you. So,
well, I always, it's a head scratcher for me how somebody can churn out 25 books, but maybe you'll give us some insight into that as well while you're telling us what is it that inspired you to write the book about helping entrepreneurs create a 7-figure machine.
This is something that I've been helping my coaching clients do for many, many years now, both one-on-one clients and group clients. And as you mentioned in your opening, I am known as the creator of the 12-week breakthrough because I'm known for helping people, entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches, authors, speakers, chiropractors, network marketers, real estate professionals. I mean, just anybody to make more in just 12 weeks than they did in the previous 12 months while actually winning their lives back at the same time. So that's why I decided, you know what, let's write a book about it. I call it the 7-figure machine because it really is. It's a machine that I'm showing you how to put into place so that you can start to have your business working hard for you so you don't have to work so hard for your business.
Well, what is it? Oh, you're taking everything online. So you're saying it's an online machine. So, and it works on autopilot. So give a little more insight into that.
Yes, absolutely. So in the 7-figure machine book, I walk you through the exact step-by-step stages that you have to put in place. So if you think about it this way, just to pull back a little bit, building a business is a lot like building a house, right? There's a lot of steps to it. There's a lot of things that have to work together in order for it to, be a functioning house, a home, right? If you forget anything, then you're going to have a building that's not very comfortable to live in, right? So imagine if you, build a house and then you got to the end, you're like, oops, we forgot to put in electricity. That would not be good.
Not good.
So the problem is that many entrepreneurs nowadays, and I would argue the majority of entrepreneurs today, are actually, they're trying to build a house without a blueprint, right? It's like they wake up in the morning, they say, gee, I need some money and what do I got to do here? So you know what? They get up and they're running around and they're slapping boards together. Well, meanwhile, they don't have a plan. They don't have a blueprint. And I know what that feels like because I went through that for the first 10 years of my business. First 10 years, I've been doing this a long, long time. As you know, Clarissa, I've been online since 1997. I started my company, successclinic.com, in 1997 in a 300 square foot basement apartment with $800 in a book on HTML. So I didn't know anything.
I love these kind of stories. I love the stories.
I didn't know anything about it. I had no money, no marketing skills, no sales, no business acumen. I mean, the only funnels we had back then were funnel cake. So, it was.
I know all about it. How did you learn? From that basement? From the basement, how did you learn?
I'm sorry?
When you're sitting in the basement, where did you turn to? How did you learn?
Oh, it was awful. I mean, it was very, very painful and very expensive. So, I mean, I paid a lot of gurus a lot of money only to find out they can't teach their way out of a paper bag, So as money would come into my business, I would just reinvest it because I knew I had a big message, a message that I wanted to get out, to the world. Yeah. And Steve Jobs put a dent in the universe. Again, I didn't know how to do it. So I just spent a lot of money, paid a lot of gurus, a ton of money to find out that they truly suck at teaching. They're great at self-promotion, great at self-marketing, but they suck at teaching.
Absolutely.
And that's why, this book, The 7-Figure Machine, is really my 30 years of hard-won, hard-fought, lessons, strategies that I wish somebody would have given this to book. If someone would have given this book to me, when I started out all those years ago, I'd be a gazillionaire by now,
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but man, I would love to have all those years back, and I'd sure like to have all that money back. So that's what this book really represents.
Yeah, so I'm going to show the cover of the book here again. I got to say, they always say never judge a book by its cover, but I love your covers. So I would pick up the book just because I love the way you configure your covers. They're all really amazing. They look, because I'm kind of, I'm very aesthetic when I look at things. It's a beautiful, beautiful cover. Is this the ultimate roadmap to, again, endless earnings and financial freedom? You also talk a lot about mindset. So I wanted to ask you, what is the one mindset shift that's needed to start thinking like a successful entrepreneurs have to start thinking about?
Absolutely. I talk about this right in chapter 1 of the book. And in every chapter, I give you lots of examples of this. It really is this one mindset shift that you've got to incorporate, you've got to install if you want to duplicate my success and my client's success, having that multiple 6, 7, or even 8-figure business. And it really comes down to just 3 words, and that is money loves speed. Money loves speed. Now, why is that so important? Well, let me give you an example. There are millions of entrepreneurs, business owners out there, and want to be entrepreneurs. You know, people who want to start their business. Maybe they're thinking about it, but the problem is that's what they're doing. They're just thinking, right? They're not acting. They're procrastinating. They're suffering from perfectionism. They're waiting for everything to be perfect before they take that leap. Now, we all know, when is everything perfect? The answer is never, right?
Never.
We all know that.
I think the saying goes, good is good enough. Isn't that sometimes?
Well, I mean, the point is, nothing is ever perfect. It's never going to be perfect. And this is the example that I give to, you know, my clients, and also when I speak to the media. And that is, I've been doing this a long time, as I just said, you know, almost 30 years now. And I have literally launched hundreds and hundreds of different products, offers, funnels over the last 27 plus years. And what I want people to know is that 90% of the things I've done have failed. Literally 90% of the things that I've done have not succeeded.
Yeah.
But from the 10% that worked, you know, just 1 out of 10 things, I've done pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I say that on purpose, because people say, oh, well, you know, and this is the other thing, you know, if it's worth doing right, or if it's worth doing right the first time. No, it isn't. It's worth doing it totally wrong. Now,
you know what the acronym for FAIL is? First attempt in learning, right?
Exactly.
So, okay.
Now, obviously, my point with the 7-Figure Machine book, and, you know, with all of my coaching and training and all my courses, is to help you save that time, that money, that effort, that stress, that failure, right? Because failure sucks. I mean, the worst part about trial and error is error, right? I mean, and that, guess what? That costs money. But worst of all, it costs you time. Yes. I talked a moment ago, you know, I gave those gurus over $500,000 only to find out they can't teach their way out of a paper bag. But the worst part of that is the time that I lost. Now, money you can always get back. You know, sure, it sucks to lose money. I mean, that's no fun. Nobody likes that. But money you can always get back. But what you can't get back is time. In the game of life, Father Time is undefeated, right? So that's why money loves speed is that mindset shift that we all need to do.
We often hear a lot, you know, we talk about, first of all, funnels, which to me is so extremely daunting. We talk about offers. Okay, how do you help people create the perfect offer/offers? Because I know that there are 3 offers, right? So how do you help people do that?
Well, I walk you through that right in chapter 1 because every successful business starts with a successful offer. But really, it boils down to 3 basic ideas. If you think about this in a big picture, and then, of course, I boil it down for you, but very briefly and simply, it comes down to 3 things. And that is done for you, done with you, and do it yourself. Right. So if you think about those 3 types of offers, I call them irresistible or magnetic offers. You want to really see if you can develop, and I'm talking to, you know, all of you as people who want to scale up your business, right? Yeah. So you want to, as soon as you can, you want to develop those 3 types of offers: done for you, done with you, and do it yourself. Now, let me give you a couple examples. So for the done for you, as an example, you know, we have at my company, successclinic.com, we have a book done for you service, meaning we help people get their books done, because just like you mentioned a moment ago, Clarissa, you know, I've written 25 books. I'm the only author in history, actually. I'm literally the only person who's ever had, right? And there you go, there I am, right? And that is, has works published by, and you can see it right here, HarperCollins, Hay House, Simon & Schuster, Mind Valley, Nightingale Conant, and The Chicken Soup for the Soul publisher. You can see them all right there in my book.
Yeah, crazy.
I know. I'm literally the only person. I'm the only one in history who's ever done that. Okay, so yes, I've done it all. I've seen it all. Made every mistake, like I was talking about. So the point is, people come to me and say, "Hey, Noah, you know, can you help me write my book? You've written all these books. You know, can you help me?" And then finally, I said, "Well, yeah, of course I can." So you know, we have that book done for you service. Just as an example, I have one of our book done for you clients is a stem cell doctor in Nashville. And he came to me and he said, "Hey, Noah, you know, I have been thinking about writing this book for 10 years, right? I've been in business, been in practice for a long time. 10 years I've been thinking about this book." He hired me. We got his book done for him in 8 weeks. So think about that, 10 years to 8 weeks. Boom. That's what happens when you have a system.
A lot of people think that a book is daunting, or they also have that mindset of, well, who am I to ever think that I could? Of
course, right. You know? And that's the inner game part.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So once you finally get Noah St. John in front of you that can walk you through this process quickly and properly, you know, it's a no-brainer.
Right. And that goes back to the fact that, you know, I have a system and I help people. Once you have a system, then that's how you can help people, you know, with, as I mentioned, you know, the done for you offers. We also have done for you funnels. You know, I mentioned I've built over 200 funnels. So we have a funnel done for you service and lots of things like that. So the point is, for those listening, you want to see if you can develop that kind of done for you, because people love that. People, you know, are busy and they're like, "Listen, Noah, I have the money, but I don't have the time. Boom, great. We get it done for you. And we just literally hand it to you. There you go. So that's a really great example. And then, of course, you have the done with you, which would be like example would be like one-on-one coaching or group coaching. We have both of those. And then, of course, the do it yourself. That's for people who maybe they're just getting started. Maybe they don't have enough money to invest, for the big packages or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when you have the do it yourself. And, like a book. That's a good example of a do it yourself. Here's a book. It's $20. Buy it. And, you can implement it. Of course, if you want some help, we can help you implement it as well. So those are great examples there of different.
Great. With so many books in digital marketing out there, a lot of them. I know that there are. What makes yours different?
I think what makes mine different, one of the things that makes my books and really all my coaching different is what a nerd I am. I'm basically the Sheldon Cooper.
That's why I bring you back all the time on the show. We love nerds here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And see, as a nerd, and going back to my point I made a moment ago, I paid all those gurus all that money. I mean, over $500,000, and they never gave me a checklist. That's all I asked for them. I paid money and I said, give me a checklist. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And they never did. They just talked around, they tap danced around. And after all that time and money I spent, I realized there's no there. Like I said, they're great self-promoters, great self-marketers, but man, they can't teach. And I'm like, wow, you guys suck. My point is that what I do is I break things down, taking my painful experience, and I break things down to, a checklist. That's what I paid for and never got from those guys. So I'm like, here, I'm going to give it to you. I mean, that's what I do is a check. And that's one of the reasons that when you go to my website, you'll just see these stories, case studies of people who I've helped to double, triple, quadruple. I mean, increase by 800%, 1,500% in less than 12 weeks. How is that possible? It's possible because when you have a system, then it's not dependent on your personality. If you're trying to depend on your personality, that's kind of shaky. I mean, there's a lot of guys, the gurus out there, the hustle bros, they got big, larger than life personalities. Well, what if you don't have that? Then you're out of luck. So that's why the system is so important. And I think that's really what makes my coaching and all my books different.
Yeah, let's talk about your coaching for a second, because we've had you on different times. You talked many times about your coaching programs. And I'd love to talk about that. Also, the fact that you're also known, which I really love about you, as the mental health coach. The mental health coach to the stars, but let's say in general for those that maybe are not famous, but just want to write a book or work with someone like you. So can you talk just a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So when you go to breakthroughwithnoah.com, I'm known as the Breakthrough Coach, but breakthroughwithnoah.com, you can watch, there's a short video there about what I do and what makes me different. And then you can just book a breakthrough consultation or breakthrough call with me or one of my coaches. And we will literally walk you through this process of how you can install this for your business so that you can duplicate my and my client's success. So what we have, and going back to my point about the done with you. So the basic package that most people start with is either one-on-one coaching or group coaching with me so that I help you install this, right? And just put it in your business so you can duplicate the success. And what's really nice is I'll give you a quick example. In fact, I'll give you two examples. So with the one-on-one coaching, I had one client named Charles, and he had read one of my books. He said he was in Barnes & Noble. He walked by one of my books 3 times, and it just called to him. And he finally bought it, and he read it. And he called me up and he said, Noah, I love what you do. I love that you're different. How can we work together? And so he decided to, because I asked him, I said, well, okay, let's back up a little bit. How much do you think it's costing you right now if you don't have this in place in your business? He said $1 million without batting an eye. Literally $1 million is costing him. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you just give me 10% of that million and I'll find you $1 million in the next 12 months. In other words, if you give me $1 and I give you $10 back, is that a good deal? He goes, yeah, that's a good deal. So he decided literally on the spot to hire me. He paid me $100K. That's 10% of $1 million, right? So I coached him one-on-one. And as it turns out, I didn't find him $1 million in 12 months. Instead, I found him $1.8 million in just 10 months. So he gave me $1. I gave him $18 back. You're welcome. Anyway, so that's an example of one-on-one. And then with the group coaching, which is called the 12-week breakthrough, again, going back to the point, making more than 12 weeks than in the previous 12 months. We had another one of my clients named Tamisa, is a self-described seminar junkie. That was her term for herself. And she started me. She was going to all these seminars and she was doing well. She was doing 6 figures, but she just couldn't break through that income ceiling. And no matter how many seminars she went through, and of course, they're all saying the same thing, right? So it just kept hitting that ceiling. Well, a friend of hers referred her to me. She decided to join my 12-week breakthrough. Now, she was skeptical. She was like, is this going to be the same thing I've heard a million times? Well, as it turns out, as a result of my coaching, she tripled her investment in 2 weeks. Wow. 2 weeks.
So
she tripled investment. We hadn't even gotten to the money part yet.
Yeah.
So boom, that's how this can happen
Love
when
that.
you put your inner game and outer game together. Those are great examples.
Really love that. Okay. Anything you want to add that we haven't talked about apart from, where everybody can find you?
Well, I mean, when you go to sevenfiguremachinebook.com, we have over $700 of free gifts for you along with the book. So just go to sevenfiguremachinebook.com. And in fact, when you go there and just enter your information, I'll also give you my brand new course called the 7-Figure Fast Track. So my job is to help you get on that fast track to 7 figures. And by the way, don't be intimidated by 7 figures. Somebody thinking, oh my gosh, I could never do 7 figures. Hey man, if you just want to make 6 figures, that's a nice living, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
sure.
Don't be intimidated by that.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. So the point is, whatever the number is, it doesn't really matter. No matter what, you're going to have to install these systems if you want to scale up. And frankly, if you want your business working hard for you, so you don't have to work so hard for your business. So that's sevenfiguremachinebook.com. Tons of free bonuses. And then I'll just mention again, breakthroughwithnoah.com if you want my help, my personal help to actually install this in your own business so you can duplicate my success.
Well, I've been alternating the ticker tapes as if they're going by. They're on the bottom for everybody to take a look at and write down, make sure they make a note of that. So breakthroughwithnoah.com. Again, 7figuremachinebook.com. There you go. Both of them. I'm going to ask you one last question. I don't know if I've ever asked you, and I love to ask the question because, you're super successful, again, just, indisputable. What would you say of all of the things that have happened in your lifetime, of all of the successes, what is the one thing that you would call your crowning moment?
Well, that's an easy one. I remember very, very distinctly, and also the happiest day of my life, which is the day I got married to my beautiful wife, Babette. You know her very well. Everybody who meets her just falls in love with her. And men, women, children, dogs, cats, fish, everybody just falls in love with her.
Love it.
And I'll never forget, because I told her before our wedding, I said to her, honey, I'm going to be the happiest bridegroom you ever saw. And I had the biggest smile on my face. And I did. And that really, because I've told you the story before, I grew up poor in a rich neighborhood. So I had that poverty consciousness. But even, and as it evolved, I decided to commit suicide at age 25. So I've known the depths of despair, the pain of frustration, the pain of loss, and all of those things. And, meeting her. And by the way, I didn't meet her till I was 40 years old. So it was
wow. Yeah.
late in life. But, the last 17 years now have just been the happiest of my life. So, yeah, I would call that my crowning achievement as well.
I love that. I interviewed Mark Victor last week. He said the same thing. And I love that about successful men, because, it could be all about work and it could be all about them, but very frequently they will default to the woman that they love and the woman that they've married. So obviously, as a woman, I absolutely love that. Kind sir, where can people find you and get your book?
7figuremachinebook.com. There it is. Tons of bonuses. If you want to throw that up there, I could just I could put that there. Anyway, 7figuremachinebook.com. Tons of free bonuses, and along with my 7-Figure Fast Track video course and breakthroughwithnoah.com. So we can help you get that breakthrough. We'll show you how it works in your business, how to install it. And it's only a 15-minute call. It's not an hour long or whatever. Just 15 minutes. Boom. We'll show you how to do it and get you rocking and rolling on the road to success.
Well, congratulations again on this, your first day of the new book, number 25. Just let me know when you got 26 in the can and we'll have you back on.
I appreciate it. Oh, it's always a pleasure, Clarissa.
All right, everybody. You've been listening to Dr. Noah St. John. I'm going to say goodbye for now. We'll see you the next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of the In the Limelight podcast, intelligent media for the savvy entrepreneur. You can listen to this and all of my podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Pandora, and Inspired News Radio. You'll find all of my videos and the In the Limelight digital magazine on clarissaburt.com. And don't forget to connect with me on social pretty much anywhere. Stay well until we meet again. In the Limelight.